opening up. Here we go. Woohoo! Ready to roll. Oh my gosh, this is wonderful to see everybody. Awesome. Kim, you want to give everybody a warm welcome?
No, I'm in a bad mood today. I don't want to talk to anybody. No, I'm
right. Kim,
There's no such thing as Kim in a bad mood.
Yeah,
No such thing.
I'm in a bad mood. I don't want to talk to anybody. Are you in a prison?
Yep.
Like literally? No.
No, I shot that. This is the one I use for my FAA web calls.
I love it. I love it. I love it. That's what it is. That's perfect. Come on. I love the sense of humor. You know, we got to remember we fly drones. We got to have some fun with it because, you know, it can be mundane at times, just getting through the process like you have to go through, Vic. So welcome.
Fly happy.
Great to see everybody. We're glad to have you here. Does anybody have any announcements? Anything, you know, we're going to be talking about UAV. Desi always has announcements. I just wanted to see if anybody else had anything going on in the drone industry to share with us. Any announcements anybody have? Networking opportunities. I want to have everybody come out here to Philadelphia. I have a great place to fly, and like, who wants to come out? Come on, Greg. You know you're getting tired of California. You want to get a cheesesteak. You know it, Greg.
You have to see her place. It's phenomenal. It is phenomenal.
It's just a whole different view, right? We don't have the palm trees and stuff like that. Whole different view. Have you had a cheesesteak before? Yeah.
I've had a cheesesteak, but not the real thing. So
okay, right?
Yes.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely. I don't eat them because there's too many carbs, but you know, I'm one of those kind of people. Can I get an amen from anybody that doesn't eat all those carbs anymore now?
Vic, I'm with Vic.
Over the 50, but you know, I ate a lot when I came here, so I'm making up for it now.
The answer to carbs is another 20 minutes on the treadmill.
That's
so
right.
There.
It used to be that way. It doesn't seem that way anymore. So anyway, but yeah, welcome everybody. It's great to see you. Nobody's put any announcements out. Desi.
Yes, I have an
You're on.
Yes, I'm super excited. Got a few more people I want to let in here. Everybody can't wait to hear from our spotlight speakers today. I know, but I have some super cool announcements to make. I'll keep it really, really short. Okay. So first off, I want to do a reminder about the awesome opportunity to do the cinematography boot camp with Skip Fredericks, right? I did a quick announcement about that the other day. Look at this. I'm going to put it into our chat right now. Don't forget, that's coming up. Who doesn't want to go to beautiful Palm Springs in November? Not summer, but November, right? Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. And then Skip Fredericks, you know, he's just awesome, winning awards and everything. So I put that in there. And then I do have one other little tease. Let me let Jennifer Pigeon in here really quick. Like,
I got it, Desi.
I have one other little tease. We've talked about it before, but I want you to keep this in mind. Remember Eric Hanscom? Everybody knows Eric. Eric's been out of town. He flies all these amazing places, right? One of those places was Thailand. Mark your calendar, 2023, we're going to Thailand. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So I will keep you posted. All the details are still coming about, but yeah, I'm pretty excited. We're working out some details that Eric is gonna help us out to get over there and do some filming, because you know he's got those epic shots, right? So yeah, I will keep you posted for that. Pretty exciting stuff, right?
Who doesn't love some good Thai food? Come on.
Yeah.
Cheesesteaks, real Thai food. You know, we can be foodies and dronies all at once. Who's interested?
Yes.
Foodie and dronies, foodie and dronies. Go for the flight and we stop and get the food.
Yeah, and he films those temples, and the water is amazing. And so yeah, I'm super excited when this started coming together. I'm like, oh, I cannot wait. So okay, apparently somebody's decided to call me. I hope you're not getting that. So with that, I do want to segue over because I know we're super excited to hear from our spotlight speaker, right? Actually,
Yeah.
we there took that away. We actually have three here today. So Jeremiah Karpowicz, yes, is here to, I hope I said that right, is here to share about the commercial UAV. And he's also got Carla Lauder here and Laura Burns. And super excited because this is just right around the corner. And we're going to hear about BBLOS, drone innovations, and everything. So Jeremiah, I'm going to make you all spotlight, but can you share and introduce your team and just tell us what's happening at Commercial UAV?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much, Desi, and thanks everybody for joining today. We're really excited to be able to share what we have planned for the event this year. Let me just find my PowerPoint and pull that up. Okay, can everybody can see that, right? Okay, good.
We're good. Good.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks again for joining today. We're really excited about this year's edition of the Commercial UAV Expo for multiple reasons, which we'll get into. But first, just as a primer, I'm Jeremiah Karpowicz. I'm the editorial director for Commercial UAV Expo. Previously, that was just kind of focused on the content that was on the website, but these days it's kind of content everything for the expo, including the conference program and still some of the stuff on the site. Both Carla and Laura's titles probably also don't fulfill all of the things that they do to support the event, but they can tell you a little bit more about that. Laura, why don't you go first?
Sure. You can hear me, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Laura Burns. I am the marketing manager for our technology portfolio. So in addition to commercial UAV news and expo, that includes our GeoWeek events and products. I have been planning events and conferences for just shy of 20 years, and 8 years at Diversified, and now 4 years on the technology products. Of all my experience in event planning, working in the commercial drone industry is by far my favorite. I am still learning. I'm still on the learning curve, but I love connecting with people. I'm super passionate. I'm so happy to be asked to kind of join this conversation today, and I'm hoping to meet a lot of you on site at Commercial UAV Expo.
And I am Carla Lauder. My title is editorial analyst / conference chair for GeoWeek. But like Jeremiah was saying, I do a little bit more than that. I'm also extending over into helping out with UAV content development for the program and kind of moving forward. We'll have more of one of my feet in the UAV side of our shows. But there's a lot of overlap between what we do on the GeoWeek side, and I'll talk a little bit about that later. But and the UAV conference program, but I got to go to my first UAV Expo last year, and it was just such an amazing experience to kind of see all of the people behind the technology that I had been learning so much about over the last 3 years that I've been working here. So it's been a great opportunity, and I just can't wait to kind of get everybody back together again for 2022 show, and also just continue to learn how UAV and UAS are kind of fitting into these workflows that are across all of these different verticals. I think it's just such an interesting place to have all of that come together.
Yeah, Carla's done a really incredible job making connections across content, across the team. And that concept of making connections and collaborating is something that's really a focus for us and for the event. So I put together a bunch of slides, but I mean, please, anybody, if you have a question, I mean, feel free to jump in and ask that. I'm not gonna. And Desi, if there's anything in the comments that bears kind of calling out or addressing on the fly, just let me know. Otherwise, I'm sure we'll have time at the end to answer any specifics. So Commercial UAV Expo is in its 8th year. I don't really know how to count that anymore. Usually I'd say the 8th edition, but in 2020 we had a virtual edition. So does that count? I'm not sure. So let's just say the 8th year. It launched in 2015, and the origin of the event is from the SPAR 3D conference, which was a 3D scanning show that our previous event director was kind of walking around and at that event in 2013, 2014 was saying, wow, there's a lot of drones here. What's going on with this? And in some conversations that ended up being, wow, there might be something for a drone show here. And then that happened in 2015. And then talking about evolution and how things change. I mean, the SPAR 3D and AEC Next, which you can see that I believe that's 2019 up there. But that event, I mean, really moved on from just being about hardware and 3D scanning, and it's now Geo Week. And Carla, you're obviously very much in that world. So can you just kind of touch on where things are, where things were with SPAR and where they are with SPAR, and even and Geo Week, and kind of the UAV connection that existed for that product and still does?
Yeah, SPAR 3D kind of had that 3D scanning focus, the laser scanning, the digitalization, and there were always overlaps between basically the hardware and the software that are helping to do that, but also the industries that it's used in. So we had AEC Next also joined the SPAR 3D conference back in 2018, and that is kind of with a construction focus. How are these tools being used to digitize construction processes? And then we had a separate show, which was the International LiDAR Mapping Forum, which was very focused on survey mapping and LiDAR. And we have, throughout the last couple of years, worked to put them under one umbrella, which is now Geo Week. There's a lot of overlap between the kind of use cases that we're seeing. The technologies can be used across these silos that used to be so separate. The geospatial folks used to never talk to the AEC folks, and all of that is starting to break down. We're seeing a really great convergence. So we thought it was a great timing for us to bring together these kind of individual audiences under one umbrella, but we do maintain communications separate for these audiences. So we have a couple of newsletters that are aimed towards more sub audiences, but I think the opportunity that the conference program presents is to explore where those things overlap. And same with the UAV. We have UAV sessions on our show still at Geo Week, but also there's a lot of crossover with those industries and how those are evolving on the UAV program. And there's a couple of vertical sessions that I can talk about a little bit later that bring that together in a new way. But it's just the evolution of both of the UAV and the Geo Week shows has really been complementary and parallel. And we're really excited about where it's going.
Yeah, and that evolution is really centered on that question of what are people actually doing with this technology? How is it making a difference? How is it allowing somebody to do a given task in a faster, cheaper, safer way? And that kind of that underlying question is something that you can see in previous events as part of the keynotes, where they're exploring things from the regulatory perspective. That's Jim Bridenstine up there, who is the NASA administrator at the time. So, this evolution is really focused on that core component of how is this technology making a difference. So let me go back. That evolution, though, isn't just about the content itself, but about some of the things that are happening at the event, and some of the what defines the event that goes beyond the conference program itself. And I think one of the best examples of that is what we set up with the outdoor drone demos. And Laura, I don't know if you wanted to talk a little bit about on kind of how these came to be. I mean, this was something that we heard from our audience that they want to see this out in the field, and that was something that we've done.
Sure. Yeah. We have a ton of special events on site at Commercial UAV Expo. We have trainings and workshops and night flight demos, but our most popular by far is the outdoor flying demonstrations. And I'm happy to see Jennifer Pigeon on this call. This is an event that we could not do, and it's organized and supported by Sundance Media Group. So Jennifer, I want to make sure I'm giving justice to just the value of this event. So feel free to chime in. But yeah, so it's really people our attendees are bussed out to the desert and then get to see it's kind of a half-day event of these live flying demonstrations. So you get to talk to the vendors, you get to see their products and software in action. It's something that has been going on for several years now and sells out every year, but we're really excited about this event.
And I just want to chime in really quick that for me personally, I got to see the flying demonstration at our event, at the event last year for the first time. And just talking about these and even hearing from these companies does not do it justice until you see these beautiful machines actually doing what they're doing their jobs, getting off the ground, doing a demonstration of what they're capable of. And it was just totally eye-opening for me, even, being, kind of running around this industry, let alone the participants who are really getting to see this stuff firsthand. So very, very valuable session. And I think Laura may have mentioned it sells out every year because it's really getting a firsthand look outside of the exhibit hall.
And I saw Jennifer's comment about misting tents. So we will have misting tents this year. It's a pretty hot one.
Well, the crazy thing about that, I think it was 2019 that we did that, and it was just so cold, so cold. And then in 2021, it was so hot. So you just never know in Las Vegas. But that's an example of something that we created based on feedback. Our audience said we want to see this out in the field. We want to literally go beyond the cage, and that's just to say, when you have feedback about things that you want to see at the expo or you want to engage with, we will be responsive to that kind of feedback. So, beyond those kind of new and different initiatives, the kind of core of the event is the content itself, which defines the content program. And whether that's as part of a presentation, like you can see Mylin from Regal giving here, or as part of a panel discussion, like you can see after the keynote. I believe that one was focused on autonomy. That education is just a core part of what's the event. And I mean, we work the entire year to pull together the right people, the right topics. And I always think of it in terms of as something, what can't you Google about how to use this technology? I can Google how to build a drone program or getting my part 107. I mean, whatever it is, but being able to go to the next level or better understand what my next step is, that's something that we put in front of all of our presenters, and is really the baseline of the conference program. And it's really a collection of industry experts that are out there using this technology in a number of ways, or have a new tool that is creating the path to value. That question of ROI, that's what it comes back to, and that's what we put on our presenters to really showcase. And as important as that, as essential as that education component is, the lifeblood of the show is that trade show floor. I've been to a lot of events at this point, and that energy on the floor is just so important. And last year just felt it in a whole new and different way. And you can see it's from last year. Everybody is in masks, but that sense of just connection was something you could see across the floor. And I'm really looking forward to seeing how that comes together this year. There's just so many different tools and technologies that you can't see in one single place anywhere else. This is just I just pulled this right off of online. This is our current floor plan. There's just a lot there. And the thought of being able to bounce from one to the next to see what each is showcasing is really exciting. I got to connect with my team to kind of run through the sort of things that we want to cover for the site, but it's going to be tough because on the one, I mean, we could literally go to every single one of these booths and talk to them about their solution or about the conversations they're having at the expo, and would have an article. And there's just literally not enough time to get to all of it. And then this is just a quick look, just a few screenshots, just a few pictures from the show floor. You can see there's just a variety out there. And what I also wanted to touch on, this is something we were talking with Kim at the beginning, was about a sense of community and coming together. And that's underlying. You can see that and feel that in things like the outdoor demos and things like the conference program. But the happy hours, the kind of informal gets get-togethers, kind of walking down the hall and recognizing somebody, or being in one of these workshops to have a conversation that you can't have over Zoom, or just goes beyond email. Like, that's really the value of the event, and it's why these kind of happy hours and other get-togethers are something that we organize. But then there's just a ton of other stuff going on over the course of of Labor Day week. So that sense of community is something we want to lean into and further develop. That sense of connection and community, I think, really ties very closely to some of the stuff that you're doing with our DEI initiative, Laura. So I don't know if you wanted to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, yes, I would love to. So a big initiative for our company, Diversified, and Commercial UAV Expo as a whole, myself personally, is to implement our new diversity, equity, and inclusion program. It is called UAV Power, and we're really just recognizing our responsibility to do better in the industry, to make it a more inclusive environment, to be elevating more diverse voices. And so this year we have been conducting one-on-one interviews about this topic with some of our leading vendors, to kind of learn about what they're doing within their own organizations, and how we can help them. We're looking to help make meaningful change, and like I said, like, not just have a mission statement on the website. I've been on conversations with Sharon from Women in Drones, and she has been immensely helpful. I don't know, Sharon, if you could chime in at some point. But one of the things that we are excited to do on site at Commercial UAV is we are going to, we're announcing, I think this week officially, that we are an official filming location for the upcoming docuseries that Women in Drones is working on with Monumental Access for that company. So we're super excited to host that on site. We're super excited to host Women in Drones, and I know there's going to be DI survey taking place at their booth. And I really invite everyone, who's kind of working towards this mission to reach out to me if you want to set up a one-on-one meeting. Kind of let us know what you're doing, how we could potentially, help, and really, ways that we can do better as an event. We know that we have a lot of work to do, and we are super excited to do that work. And working with our partners is huge in that respect. And then another area that we're working on is our recognizing our social responsibility to the environment. Planning big events. There can be a lot of waste. Trade shows are not known as the most sustainable events. So we're working with all of our vendors. We have goals to become carbon neutral. We are doing a lot of changes that you'll probably notice at the event, as far as eliminating waste, making smarter food choices, asking people to bring water bottles, because we're trying not to have any plastic waste, things like that. And again, we're all ears. If anyone has ideas, feel free to reach out. But you will see some changes on site with less printing, less signage, heavier focus on mobile apps and QR codes and that type of stuff.
So that's just a quick sense of some of the new initiatives that are defining the event this year. But going back to that, the show floor and the conference program, that's really the foundation upon which everything else is built. And you can see this is just a quick look at some of the specifics that are covered on the program, with the NPRM for BVLOS, some counter drone solutions and insights, what it means to utilize drones in specific vertical industries like construction and agriculture. And all of that is, again, this is just a screenshot of our conference program. If you go online, you can click into any one of these sessions to get a better sense of the specifics that are laid out in each of them. I pulled just a handful of them to run through today, just as ones that we wanted to highlight. And with the opening keynote, that goes back to something I mentioned, that, that feedback from the audience has always been, all right, what's next with regulation, and what is the ROI of the technology? And I think that's something you can see. I mean, both of those things up front and center in the keynote. We've got Keller Renato from Zipline, who's going to talk about the power of instant logistics, which you can imagine, like there's ROI impact there, but I mean, a real vision for the technology and for the drone industry itself. And then followed right after that by Dave Bolter from the FAA to kind of talk through where things are, where they could be, and where they should be with FAA regulation. That's going to be a fireside chat with him and Lisa Ellman. So, just as that starting place for the event, that ROI and regulation is going to be front and center. One of the things that we're excited about this year is working with folks like Desi and Tani from Women in Drones to be able to, because we always have various different pieces of the technology or of a solution that makes sense. But how do these fit together in a way that makes sense for a given program or for a given business? What does it mean to connect the regulatory piece with the safety piece? And Desi and Tani have dug into that for a couple of the sessions that I'm really looking forward to checking out at the event. So that's something that's really going to be new and different for us this year, just being able to explore the technology because there was a narrative for so long in the space, was the complete drone solution. And that's really not a thing, because what is a complete drone solution for one type of user is going to be different for a different type of user, or for a different type of company, or for somebody that is doing a drone for an inspection versus something very different. So, those are the specifics that they're going to be getting into in their sessions, which I'm really looking forward to. But that core, I on the initial slide for here, you could have the layout of the different vertical industries, which was construction, agriculture, drone delivery, et cetera. I think we have 8 of them, but those are kind of the bedrocks of the conference program. And this top one is from the infrastructure and transportation. The second one is surveying and mapping, and the bottom one is the construction session. So, Carla, you're very dug into these kind of specific applications of not just drones, but obviously you deal with various pieces of technology in GeoWeek. But what stuck out to you about what's here in terms of what you can learn as an attendee, but then also something that excites you as part of our upcoming promo?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just starting with the infrastructure and transportation session. We've identified, in the US at least, that there's a massive need for infrastructure inspections, repair, remediation for our aging, infrastructure as a whole. And the ways in which UAS are being basically integrated into or introduced into those inspection processes, into the regular maintenance or repeated maintenance processes, there have been some really exceptional examples, including how they've been used with bridges and DOTs really taking their highway and road management, overpass, things like that, taken in new directions. So for me to see kind of the ways the presentations here are going to go into kind of how that's been done, what that ROI is, what is the value there? Is this just a new tool that's, a hype tool that everybody thinks is going to solve their problems, or is it actually really addressing some of the gaps, or increasing safety, or increasing accessibility? When you're, scanning a bridge, it's easier to do that from a drone than it is to hang somebody off the side of it, which is the way that it's been done for a really long time. So those kind of insights in that session, I'm really excited to see that, and to really get an in-depth discussion from the people who have done it about, what it cost, what it was like, what were the challenges that are still there. And I think some of those themes kind of carry over into the surveying and mapping as well, which is, we've got traditional land-based surveying, and then we have traditional kind of like airborne lidar, things of that nature. And, kind of drones can fit into that space in between. And I think that we're learning that instead of an all-in-one drone that can do everything, maybe there's a complementary spot for the drones to complement traditional surveying, or to increase the speed or breadth of a project that can be taken on. And I think that the group of folks that we have there, including the two speakers from Woolpert, are going to give us a really good kind of overview of how drones can add value instead of taking more time or just being a new tool that they're checking out. So I'm really looking forward to that one as well, because surveying is a long an industry with a long history, and the adoption of new tools has been amazing in the last 3-4 years, and UAVs have certainly been a part of that. And then thirdly, with construction, there was a 2018 that McKinsey report, anybody in the construction industry probably was aware of, that basically ranked construction as one of the least efficient industries of all of them, that there was a lot of waste, there was a lot of rework, and discussions about how making these processes more digital, making more accurate records of how construction is progressing or as-built could help. This has really progressed in the last couple of years as well. And one of the ways that that's been kind of really brought to the fore is, can you do more with drones on construction progress monitoring, or external facade, inspections and things of that nature that can be done much more easily, or couldn't be done before with the traditional kind of on the ground surveys. So again, the session, very excited to see where this is going, because I went to a similar session last year, and just there's even been new developments, and how people have used that since then. So just another way to kind of get a great sense of how people are integrating and adding value with their UAVs. Yeah. But there's so much more in the conference program, as Jeremiah was saying before, with the conference, with the floor. I wish I could attend them all simultaneously, but got to make my choices, right?
That's just a very, very quick look at what's laid out online. So again, I encourage anybody to dig in there in depth and follow up with us for any questions that you have about what is or isn't there. We've talked a lot about the reality of the technology, where it's making a difference today, and obviously that's important. But that eye on the future, where things are headed, though, I think that's also something that people come to these conferences to get a sense of. What do I need to be aware of? What's on the horizon? And I think our AAM UAM session is a really good example of that. And we've got some really great speakers lined up for there. James Grimsley is just awesome. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to hear some or see some of the stuff that they're doing in Oklahoma, but just really looking forward to that one. And then our drone visionary session, like this is another example of, this is a session you can't get anywhere else. The top people at companies like Skydio and Dragonfly and Ag Eagle and Drone Deploy coming together on the same stage to talk about their vision for where their companies are and where they're going and how they're defining the future of the space. That's not something you can see anywhere else, and being able to hear what they have to say is something I'm personally looking forward to. And then with the women behind the drone revolution, Laura, I know you talked a lot with Esther about what this session is and why we wanted to make sure we made it happen for this year. So I wanted to see if you could give a little background about that and what we're all looking forward to with it.
Sure, yeah, and this session, came about with a conversation with Esther. As I mentioned, we've been doing one-on-one interviews to see, what we can do to elevate women's voices in the industry. And I know that Drone Talks had been doing this as a virtual series. So we worked with Esther and Drone Talks to bring this on site. So this is going to be kind of an interactive session at the exhibit hall theater that we are super excited about. And as you can see, like the lineup is just kind of really impactful women from around the globe. And so they're going to share their career paths and stories and give insight about what it's like to be in this industry and their successes.
Awesome. And I apologize for sounding like a broken record, but like this really is just a quick look at all of what we have planned for. I didn't even really touch on the drone responders content, which is an entirely different track that Chris Todd and the drone responders team have put together. There's just so much there. And we have a number of other workshops that are available as well. So there's just a lot more. But one of the reasons that we're able to plan so much is because we really approach this as the community coming together, and that community coming together, education and learning about the technology is obviously a focus, but there's also a fun element to being together and being in Las Vegas. And this is the CUAV team down at Fremont Street after, I think that was 2018. But that's just that, to give everybody that sense of community. That's something that we cultivate on our team, and we want to cultivate with all of you and across the drone space. Is that this is an event where we can come together to learn, but also to have fun. And then part of that as well is about connecting with all of us. This is a picture of the team from last year. I was saying to Carl and Laura, I'm not sure how Bob always gets in the center of these pictures, but he somehow manages to. But that's all of us. I think our info is up and on the site. So please, any questions, reach out before the event. And then as Laura said, looking forward to connecting with any and all of you in Las Vegas.
Yeah, we can't wait. Like, it's just getting everybody back together, being an events company, we really love it when we're all in the same room and then we get a chance to talk to each other. And we were so happy to be able to do this event last year, coming out of the peaks of COVID, and just really excited to get everybody back, kind of talking again, reconnecting, seeing old friends. Like you were saying at the beginning, Desi, just like, oh, hi, I thought I heard your voice. Like all those cross the room connections. We love that. We love to see that.
Well, and Laura, you mentioned too, I mean, you've been to a lot of events as well. I mean, I feel like that energy and kind of getting back together in 2021, we were still in masks and it was still coming out of COVID, but I mean, there was just something that really resonated with that, don't you think?
Absolutely. I feel like, just the energy and just hearing people talking to each other, kind of that buzz in the background, is really exciting. It gives me goosebumps sometimes. So I'm excited to feel that way again in Vegas. And again, just like looking forward to networking and meeting more people within the drone industry.
Excellent. Well, can we answer any questions about anything with the event, or anything more that we can tell you or didn't dig into that anybody wants to know about?
Just like to say that, when I went, it was like a celebration of we made it. We made it, like on the other side, a lot of people, it was the one certainty, as for us people that are flying drones or in the drone industry, we're like on the magic carpet ride. We are riding this magic carpet. And I got that song in my head, right? Magic carpet ride, because, when we got into it, we knew that the future was so bright, right? And so we did like nothing, if anything, on the other side of COVID, drones were becoming more and more relevant. We have several people on here that, like Linda Quackenboss, that participated in Vegas in the COVID, I think it was COVID drone testing with drones, delivery. So, I mean, we had a lot of different people come through. Vic Moss worked really hard with his team to, help, put together and bring forth more decent laws for drones and fight for us. But, everybody has stories. So, even during COVID, none of us were, I mean, I can't speak for everybody, but, a lot of us, the majority of us, we didn't sit back stagnant. We were rolling, we were flying, we were, striving, and so we had that drone thing. So we did have that magic carpet ride that when UAV Expo came up, we were able to just all come together. So we thank you guys. I personally want to thank you all and your team for continuing to press forward as if success was inevitable. So I just would like to say that I'd like to thank all of you.
No, we really appreciate that, and that magic carpet ride was certainly something we felt as well. Sitting there in February or March of 2021, we said we want to hold this event and we are planning to hold this event, but are we going to be able to? And like that was just an ongoing question that changed and evolved, and keeping track of what we could and would and were allowed to do was there was a lot to it, but we're thrilled that it all came together. And then something you mentioned too, Kim, I thought that's super relevant too, is that the understanding of the importance of a touchless inspection system, like that meant something in our pre-COVID world, and it means something different now. I think there's a much different understanding of the value of the technology that goes beyond the bottom line, and is something that you can enable in a lot of different ways.
Awesome. Vic Moss had a question in there about, will there be an area dedicated to podcasts?
So I can answer that. So we don't have, say, a dedicated podcast table, but we do have a step and repeat that typically each year people will do standing interviews in front of. We also do have several media partners that are doing podcasts from their booths. But yeah, I mean, if you are planning on doing a podcast and need help kind of finding a space to do that on site, reach out, or we can direct you to the interview wall.
Awesome. Also, Jennifer Birdsong was asking about, is there a day for local students or teachers? She wasn't sure if she missed something because she had to jump out for a second. Something to do with the popular future of drone uses for teachers and students, right?
Yes, so Jennifer, I would love if you reach out to me directly. We do have kind of complimentary academic passes, and we do welcome students. There's a few stipulations. Basically, everyone needs to be over 18. So unfortunately, it wouldn't be able to be young students. But there are a few things that we can do. We recognize the importance of getting some career information out there. So we would love to have teachers and students.
Awesome. So first of all, I would like everybody to put into the chat, are you going and what do you hope to see? What is your main objective? I know we talked a lot about that networking aspect of it, and we have been, doing Zooms and such like that so much. It just feels amazing to get back together and see people in person. There's just no replacing that. And so, like Kim said, thank you for the opportunity, right?
Well, and that was part of it too. I remember when COVID first hit, there was the thought of, everything's just going to be replaced by virtual events, and there's going to be no need to ever get together in person anymore. And I think that went away pretty quick for multiple reasons.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for holding on to old school. Really, really, really thank you for holding on to old school. I mean, because you guys, I'm like almost 60, right? So that's old school for me. And you guys are obviously, young bucks and buckettes. So we really appreciate you not saying, oh, this is great, we can just do everything virtually. That's super important, because that's what a lot of people feel. And I just want to also recommend, if any of you get an opportunity or take the opportunity, get out there and get some of those additional opportunities like what Jennifer offers. Any of those extra classes that you can take, those extra workshops, it's so worth it, because remember, we're still in the baby steps of drones, and just people just don't have that education. Most people aren't involved like we are. So you're going to be the leader that people are looking for. And another thing I'd like to say is that, when you do go to these breakout sessions, the passion of the people that are training. I've been in training for years. I'm a training guru. I've done trainings. I love trainings. I love hands-on training. But the level of passion that these companies are bringing, it's unprecedented. So now is the time. So you're out there, you're gonna, it's worth it to invest in yourself and invest in your future. So sign up, and don't try to learn it on your own. Go work with the professionals and get lots of pictures.
Yeah, just speaking of workshops, the ASPRS one that they usually do, and they're doing again this year, is a really great one. So for anybody interested in that surveying LiDAR piece, that's one to check out.
Awesome. Well, we're very, very excited. And I know I've been following the chat. As you can see, there's a lot of conversations going in there about who's going to be there and what they hope to see. And I think Vic kind of hit the target there. It's just so good to see so many different verticals and how they're being used. And one of my key takeaways is from the very beginning when Jeremiah, you said, we are going to showcase what you can't find on Google. That's the deep dive we're looking for. And so I love that approach with it. And so definitely looking forward to that. And a lot of comments going back and forth in there. So some of it is about that networking, right? A lot of our comments there. So can you share a little bit about what the networking opportunities are available?
So outside of we have the opening happy hour that's on Tuesday night, right, Laura? That kind of kicks off the event.
Yes, so the opening reception on Tuesday night, that is kind of a big happy hour on the show floor. That is sponsored by Drone Pilots this year. And then we have another networking reception the following night. And we used to do events offsite, but the feedback that we've gotten in recent years is that people really like to have a drink and walk around the floor, and kind of keeps everyone together instead of splitting off into different groups. And I know a lot of people do that anyway, kind of after hours. Another thing that we are utilizing this year is our mobile app has some pretty interesting networking capabilities. So the mobile app is sponsored by DroneUp. And it's kind of like I don't want to say a dating app, but it has a kind of swiping capability where you're able to, look at someone's professional profile and then indicate whether you want to meet with them or not on site. And we have tables set up. There's a whole networking lounge called the Hub on the show floor. And again, this is kind of in partnership with DroneUp. And so you can set meetings with people through the mobile app. And you'll see suggestions pop up and when you indicate similar interests, and then you can just pick a time on the app and then go and meet them in the hub right on the show floor. There's also through the app, companies can indicate whether or not they're hiring. So there's a few things that we have in the works to kind of increase networking and getting to know more people on site.
Well, and I think that you can almost break that out into informal networking and more formal networking. That informal is those happy hours, is the coffee breaks that are in between sessions throughout the day. But then more formal is something that you can set up through the app and kind of find some folks that you either want to connect with or haven't heard of and want to know more about. And as Laura said, there's a dedicated spot on the show floor where all of that can physically take place.
Awesome. Targeted connections. That's good, right?
Well, both sides. Targeted, and then just those happy hours when you're just kind of hanging out and talking to somebody you haven't run into a while, and start a conversation with somebody right there. Like that happens.
Yes. And I saw a comment come in there about Vic and Jim. The last time they saw each other was at the event last year. So it's good to have that opportunity again.
And it's wild how quick it can go. Like, so there are folks that I haven't seen since last event, but that felt like it was only a couple months ago, and it can be quick.
So I put a link into the chat here for going and checking out the website.
Thank you.
Is there any contact information or anything that you would like to add into the chat so that if people had questions or anything that they would like to reach out? Because quite often, we get done with this and then they go, oh, I should have asked about this, or oh, I was wondering about that.
Yeah, no. So if you dropped in the conference or the event link, everything is accessible from there. The two that I'd call out in terms of next steps are, we got the conference program link that's up there and that's in the nav, but then there's a contact page as well that has all of our info on there. I think our email addresses are on there as well. But then all three of us are pretty active on LinkedIn, so please feel free to connect with us for any questions or follow up. But the website and LinkedIn are going to be the best ways to ask anything else.
Awesome, awesome. And then I think Jennifer Pigeon is still on here, and I want to do a big shout out to her because obviously she posted in there some links for the events that she has going on, and just so much happening. And so I also put in there just as a quick reminder for everybody to actually mark your calendar, right? September 6th through the 8th. It's happening at Caesars Forum and Las Vegas, right? We already knew this part, but I just wanted to put that out there in case someone wasn't familiar with what the dates are for it. And it looks like a lot of people are going to be going. Doing a little shout out to everybody in there, watching our chat go through. It's super exciting. And so we're coming up onto the last part of our program here. We only have about nine minutes left here. And so can you each of you just kind of circle back one more time and just do, one last, what you think is the biggest takeaway that you're looking forward to for the program coming up?
I'll go first just because I hear my dog about to bark, so I'll try to preempt that. Just seeing how these workflows have matured as well, just even from last year, and kind of seeing more examples of how drones are really being put to work in such innovative ways. That's what I always look forward to, and I'm looking forward to that particularly this year.
Yeah, for me, outside of that networking and human connection, I mean, obviously that's the easy answer, but what I love seeing at these events is being able to showcase and help people with their next step with the technology. And what that next step looks like can be very different. There's somebody that is just there to better assess what their options are, but then there's other people that are there because they've already got an entire program up and running, but they're running into a specific challenge that's either technical or associated with regulation. So those are two people that are very different spaces with adoption, but that next step is something that they can equally find and get a better understanding of. And again, it for me, it comes down to just not being able to find that answer just on your own research, or just asking. You got to go beyond your network for some of those specifics, and being able to highlight that as part of the conference program is something I'm really excited about, and looking forward to conversations that really dig into what that looks like for everyone.
Yeah, and I echo all of those sentiments. Again, I think that the networking and getting to know the faces of the industry is for me what I look forward to the most. And then just as far as the conference program, seeing the real world examples is just sometimes mind blowing. Like I say when I leave this event, I kind of come home and tell my friends that, like, I feel like my brain is exploding because I just didn't realize how many use cases there are for drones. And so it's really exciting to see all the ways that they're helping different industries.
Oh, I got one more too, like being able to actually connect with people that you sometimes feel are removed. Like the FAA sometimes feels like this impersonal thing, but I mean, there's going to be people there that you can have a conversation with, and being able to help them better see the kind of challenges that you're dealing with. Again, that's the only that can only happen in person at a places like this event. So kind of personalizing what might otherwise feel distant is something that I really enjoy being part of on both sides.
A great point. You get to connect with people that you would not normally have the opportunity to share with. So yeah, awesome. Well, we're super excited, and yes, a lot of people are saying that, yes, your mind is just full. And so I was teasing about somebody. It's like eye candy everywhere, And so, it's so exciting, and it's coming up so fast. We're super excited to see everybody. We have your contact information in there. We put the link in there. Jennifer put her information in there for all the extra outdoor activities that are happening. We're so excited and inspired and just cannot wait for this to happen. I saw Jim had also put in that High Tech's going to be there. So, oh, we're just very, very excited for this to happen. So I want to thank you. Kim, do you want to jump on and say a thank you as well? And we'll wrap it up for today. And we certainly look forward to seeing you and everybody at the beginning of September.
Oh,
I think we lost Kim.
Oh, she went back on mute.
yeah, I want to remind everybody, get the most out of your time that you network while you're there. Take that time to meet with people and be busy and productive. And last but not least, I forgot what I was going to say. Oh, shit. Can you tell people, can you remind people how to share, how to save the chat, Desi?
Oh, yes, yes. A
Yeah,
lot of
can
good
you do that?
information was in there.
Yes.
So there is an opportunity to save the chat for the conversations going on. Lower right-hand corner, the 3 dots. Also, I just saw Vic put in his contact information. So last minute, if everybody wants to just throw that in there, because we're about networking. That's what we're about. So can't do that if we don't put our information in there and save that chat, right? All right. Well, we're super excited. Thank you so much for joining us. And we look forward to seeing everybody in September.
We appreciate it as well. And that excitement you guys feel, it's reciprocal on our end. So thanks for the opportunity to lay all this out. Really looking forward to continuing the conversation with you guys in Las Vegas.
Awesome.
Yeah, and thanks for having, I just want to say too that, thanks for having 3 people from your team on here. That says a lot about your commitment and your passion for what you do. So not just one person, but 3 people. When you guys have a lot going on, we all know that. We know how busy we all are. So I just want to say thank you so much, because that says a lot, and that just cements why we want to be there.
No, it's absolutely a team effort. So I'm glad that comes across.
Awesome.
Okay, well, have a great week, everybody.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you,
nice to meet
guys.
you all.
Be safe.
Bye.
All right.
That kind of wraps it up.